Can I pray while having a prayer video in the background to assist me as I learn my prayer? The answer to this question is it depends. It depends on what exactly you mean thereby and how this will be conducted. It depends on whether you are able to fulfill the requirements of the prayer and whether you would be able to do that while simultaneously having this tutorial play in the background. So for a new Muslim, a person who just embraced Islam, or for a child that's, a child who's learning, there would be no problem with utilizing whether it be a booklet or a video or something of the sort to practice the prayer and to go through the motions of the prayer in that sense. In order to make sure that a mature adult mukallaf Muslim, a responsible or duty-bound Muslim, has a valid prayer, the most important requirement is that the prayer fulfills the necessary arkan and shurut, so the integrals and the conditions of the prayer. As long as the conditions of the prayer are fulfilled and the integrals of the prayer are fulfilled, then the person's prayer would be valid. If the background video is such that the person would need to engage with it, so they would not basically be able to fulfill the integrals and the conditions of the prayer, or they would necessarily have to break their prayer at various occasions in order to follow along with this video or this booklet, then in that case, I would recommend that such an individual practices outside of the 5 obligatory prayers and then implements what they have practiced within the obligatory prayers. For a person who knows how to pray, or they are familiar with the prayer, but they are trying to perhaps expand their knowledge, then this would not be the approach. They would be able to fulfill the prayer in its basic format, in its most fundamental format, fulfilling the conditions, fulfilling the integrals, not breaking the prayer, and they would be able to then gain knowledge outside of the prayer itself. So it depends on the circumstances. In summary, again, for somebody who is learning, for a new Muslim or for a child, it's fine to learn. Will the prayer be valid? It would be valid if they manage to fulfill the integrals and the conditions and they don't break their prayer. And the safest thing to do would be to practice in this way outside of the actual prayer itself, the 5 obligatory prayers that is, and then implement what they have learned during the 5 obligatory prayers. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam. Just a note on this, for somebody learning to pray, I would recommend that they start with number 1, the memorization, the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha and the Tashahhud. Because in the Shafi'i school, these are the only 2, that along with the Takbiratul Ihram, saying Allahu Akbar, these are the only 3 elements of recitation that is obligatory in the prayer. All of the other supplications and adhkar, they are supererogatory, meaning that even though they are important, the prayer is still potentially valid without reciting them. So the actions are fairly easy to learn: standing, bowing, ruku, sujood, etc. And then the recitation of the Fatiha and the Tashahhud could potentially be learned in a shorter span of time than the entire prayer's recitations. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.